Unbelievable. Melissa Jefferson Wooden's triple gold victory, a new legend emerges. The birth of a legend. There are moments in sports that transcend time. They leave footprints not just on tracks and fields but on the collective memory of humanity. The Olympics, the World Championships, the grand stages of athletics, these are where immortality is forged. And in Tokyo 2025, a new name was etched alongside the greatest of all time, Melissa Jefferson Wooden. The American sprint queen achieved what seemed impossible, winning triple gold in the 100-meter, 200m, and 4x100-meter relay. A feat so rare, so demanding, that it had only been achieved by legends like Florence Griffith Joyner and Shelley Ann Fraser-Pryce. Now, Jefferson Wooden joins the pantheon, her name echoing through the annals of track and field history. But this wasn't just about medals. This was about resilience, about a young woman from humble beginnings who rose through trials, heartbreaks, and relentless competition to conquer the world. This is her story. The spark, origins of a champion. Melissa Jefferson Wooden was born with speed in her veins but not with golden opportunities laid out before her. Raised in a small town in South Carolina, her early life was shaped by grit and community. She first raced on uneven playgrounds, barefoot, chasing friends and siblings, unaware she was rehearsing for greatness. Coaches spotted her potential in middle school, her acceleration, her rhythm, her refusal to lose. By high school, she was shattering state records. By college, she was a star at Coastal Carolina University, where her raw talent was molded into polished sprinting excellence. It wasn't an easy climb. Injuries tested her. Self-doubt crept in. But each setback built a fire that burned brighter. Melissa's mantra, repeated in every training session: I am more than speed. I am destiny. The road to Tokyo. The 2025 World Championships in Tokyo carried pressure like no other. Sprinting was at its peak, with Jamaica's Shericka Jackson, Britain's Dina Asher-Smith, and America's own Sha'Carri Richardson setting the track ablaze in prior seasons. Melissa Jefferson Wooden was not the most talked-about name entering the championships. She was respected, yes, a finalist, a medal threat, but few predicted her to dominate. Her response? To silence doubts the only way she knew how, with her legs. The 100m, lightning strikes. The women's 100-meter final is the crown jewel of athletics. The stadium hushed as 8 of the fastest women alive crouched in the blocks. The camera zoomed in on Jefferson Wooden, calm, collected, eyes focused forward. The gun fired. Melissa exploded from the blocks with a reaction time that seemed almost telepathic. At 40 meters, she was level with Jackson and Richardson. At 60 meters, her stride lengthened, her arms pumping with fury. The crowd roared as she surged ahead, crossing the line in 10.72 seconds. Gold. The stadium erupted. Tears welled in her eyes as the American flag draped across her shoulders. The world had just witnessed her arrival. The 200m, endurance meets power. Winning the 100m is about explosiveness. Winning the 200m requires endurance and strategy. It is the event where champions prove their versatility. Melissa lined up in lane 5, the perfect spot to gauge her rivals. At the curve, she was already ahead, her body leaning like a bullet into the bend. By the straightaway, she was untouchable. Her rivals strained, but her rhythm was flawless, smooth, powerful, efficient. She crossed in 21.80 seconds. Another gold. 2 medals in 2 races. The whispers turned into roars. Could she do the triple? The 4x100-meter relay, a nation's pride. The 4x100-meter relay is chaos and beauty, a test not only of speed but of trust and precision. The U.S. team, stacked with stars including Sha'Carri Richardson, had one goal: reclaim dominance from Jamaica. Melissa was chosen to anchor. The baton exchanges were clean, and by the time she received it, the race was on a knife's edge. Jamaica's anchor was a step ahead. Melissa dug deep. Every stride was a declaration. With the crowd screaming, she reeled in her rival, inch by inch, before crossing the line first in 41.75 seconds. Triple gold. History made. The weight of history. Very few athletes can claim to have owned the sprinting stage so completely. By winning triple gold, Jefferson Wooden entered rare company. Florence Griffith Joyner, 1988, the fashion icon and record holder whose times still stand. Shelly Ann Fraser Price, 2008 to 2021, the Jamaican pocket rocket with unmatched longevity. Carmelita Jeter, Elaine Thompson-Hera, Marion Jones, names that defined eras. Now, Melissa Jefferson Wooden was there too. Commentators declared it the start of a new dynasty. Fans flooded social media with tributes. Children in playgrounds began shouting her name, mimicking her arm pump. A new legend had been born. Behind the glory, the struggles. Triple gold sounds like destiny fulfilled. But behind every medal lay years of unseen battles. Melissa had faced stress fractures, training plateaus, and financial uncertainty early in her career. She often spoke about moments when she questioned whether she'd ever reach the world stage. She also carried the weight of representation. As a black female athlete from a modest background, she felt responsibility not just to win, but to inspire. In post-race interviews, her humility shone through. "I run for my family. I run for the little girls back home who think they can't. I run because speed is my gift, but faith is my fuel." The reaction. The world went wild. Social media exploded with hashtags, #TripleGoldQueen, #MelissaMagic, #NewLegend. Sponsors lined up overnight, fashion brands, fitness companies, even global airlines wanting her as the face of inspiration. Other athletes paid tribute. Shelly Ann Fraser Price tweeted, "The baton has been passed. Run with it, Melissa." Fans wept in stadiums, waving flags, chanting her name. It wasn't just a victory. It was a cultural moment. What this means for women's athletics. Melissa Jefferson Wooden's triumph signified more than medals. It symbolized the evolution of women's athletics. Her wins sparked conversations about equality in prize money, media coverage, and sponsorships. Female sprinters were no longer undercard attractions, they were the main event. She showed that women could carry the weight of global expectation, could headline championships, could inspire millions with the same magnitude as Usain Bolt once did. Legacy in motion. The question now is, what comes next? For Melissa, this is only the beginning. She is 24, entering her prime. If she stays healthy, she could dominate for years. She could break records, win Olympic titles, and solidify herself as the face of a generation. But legacy isn't just about medals. It's about impact. And already, Melissa is changing the narrative for future athletes, proving that no dream is too far, no stage too big. Conclusion: the dawn of a new era. When Melissa Jefferson Wooden crossed that final finish line in Tokyo, arms stretched wide, face radiant with triumph, the world knew it had witnessed history. Triple gold. A feat for the ages. But more than that, the birth of a new legend, one who runs not just for herself but for everyone who dares to dream. Her story is not just about speed. It is about resilience, representation. Unbelievable. Melissa Jefferson Wooden's triple gold victory, a new legend emerges. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like and share. Till next time.